Hey y'all, thanks for tuning into another video. I'm just wondering how many people are in a space right now where they're like, there is no way that what I'm experiencing right now can be for my greater good. There's no way that this sort of turmoil or chaos or frustration or just the depths of despair that I'm in right now can be something that is going to work out for my greater good. And trust me, I completely understand exactly how you feel in this space, even though I may not know your exact pain point. I know what it feels like to be in a space where you're like, there's no way that this is going to turn into something good. There's no way that this can be for my greater good. And I often felt like this whenever I was experiencing, tough and tumultuous situations inside of abusive relationships. I know I made this choice, and this relationship was a choice that was a poor one. And I also know that, there are consequences for behaviors, etc. But I also know that God's plan is a good plan. I know that I've operated inside of my will, but I also know that He knows that I'm going to do that. And so, how could this experience be leading me to something that's good? How could this experience be helping me learn something that's going to be useful and good later? In fact, it just feels like misery. And so, if you're in that space today, I just want to encourage you with a couple of things. The first one being that all of the spaces that you've gone through before where you felt miserable and like you're at the end of your rope and like you just can't endure anymore, you've come through those. So that's a positive. It just means that this is going to be much like those situations where you felt like you weren't going to be able to get to the other side, but somehow you did. And I also want to encourage you by saying that that somehow is God. So, like, once we get to the end of our rope and we can't do it anymore, that oftentimes is the part in our journey where we will throw it over to Him and say, I just can't endure anymore. Jesus, take the wheel, is what I always say. But, like, you got it. I can't do it. So I'm counting on you and your strength because my strength cannot get me through it. And He will, because He does, because He has a plan. And what happens once we get past this point, and even though some of the hardest things have happened and we are in a space where we're trying to count it all joy, what happens is that one day you'll start to see how every fault, every failure, every flaw was necessary. Because I know from personal experience and from just watching my friends and even reading biblical examples that if things had worked out the way that I thought that they should work out, when I thought that they should work out, then I would have been getting something that was by far settling compared to what I did end up getting at the end. Something that I would never have dreamed of or fathomed is the thing that came out in the end. And I didn't even have that thought process of that thing being the thing when I was enduring what I was enduring. And so oftentimes we think that our limited perspective knows what should be happening and what's best for us. And He has something that is not even capable of being thought of by our earthly minds on the other side if we just are able to lean on Him and His strength to endure what we're enduring. If things would have worked out sooner, you might have settled. If things would have worked out sooner, you might have thought that that was God's best for you when what He had as His best for you was this thing that was on the other side that you could have never even thought of. It's the thing, the image that you always see where you have Jesus on one side and there's the girl, and then, she's trying to take her very small teddy bear back, and he has this large teddy bear in behind him, and he's like, trust me, I have something better for you. And she doesn't want to give up what she has, but it really is settling. It's settling for something smaller, something less impactful, something that won't perhaps advance the kingdom or get you to the space where all of your visions for your future and hopes for your future come to fruition, but it's limiting because it's thinking instant gratification is better than full circle fruition. And when we think that way, then we definitely miss the blessings. The second thing is that if things would have worked out the way that you thought they would, you would have had to shrink to fit in the space. And the reason that I know that is because if something isn't working out for you, then it doesn't belong to you. And if it doesn't belong to you, then it means you're going to have to cut away, shrink, or remove pieces of you that God put in you as part of your gift. And if He put them in you as part of your gift and you're having to get rid of them to have the thing, then there's no way that thing is of Him. And so, if you're going to settle for the thing that's in front of you, if you're not going to endure the pain of the tumultuous situation that you're in, you're going to have to shrink to fit in a different space when in reality, He wants you to become more of something to go into your next. And so, when the spaces aren't for you, when the vision isn't aligned with what you think it should be, you'll start to notice that you're not being the full version of yourself, that you're having to give away things just to have that thing. And because we want it right now, then we are really willing to sacrifice that. When if we could just see what's on the other side of this, we would understand that all of this is necessary for us to have the things that He has for us in His plan on the other side. And the other thing is that if things worked out, then you might have accepted easy instead of what's yours. And so sometimes if the easy thing works out for us, then we say, okay, this must be where I'm supposed to be, what I'm supposed to have. So we become complacent and we become content in that space, and we don't seek more, look for more, or value more because that space is easy for us. But sometimes when He adds some hiccups in the experience or some bumps in the road, that's when we start to say, okay, well, this isn't my space. This isn't what's for me, but I'm learning some things inside of this. And those things that we learn there are what craft us and design us for the things that we have later. And so if it wasn't something that was done to you to upset the ease of that situation, then you would have accepted the easy instead of what's yours later. And so oftentimes that means that we have to endure some things and we have to struggle through some things so that we will more heavily lean on Him, but also so that He can show us that He didn't create us for easy. He created us for more. He created us for kingdom work. And oftentimes that's not the easy thing. So, what happens when you're going through these tough situations that you can hold on to so that it'll get you through to the other side? Well, the first is you're growing for what's yours. So, what you're experiencing inside of this space is your growth journey to get to what's yours. It's so that you can have the capacity to hold what He has for you on the other side. This journey is allowing you to be fully you. Not only are you becoming more of you, but you're also letting go of things that aren't of you so that when you get to the thing that you're supposed to have, when you get to the other side of this thing, you can be 100% and fully who you are and who He crafted you to be. Because living the life that you're living before with the masks and all of these other things is not what He has for you. And lastly, you're waiting for alignment. So if it's not happening and it's not instant gratification and it pains you to be going through this space, whether it's financial angst or some sort of emotional angst, there are times inside of the spaces that you're in that hurt the most, where He's just refining you so that He can align you to the things that are of Him. So if you're in that space today, I would encourage you to reach out, go to my socials, send me a DM. I would love to work with you through this time and give you somebody to lean on in human form so that we can see how you can more closely get into relationship with God and lean onto God. And then also, if this message hit home for you and you know somebody would benefit from it, remember that sharing information will help other people break free from the bondage that they're in so that we're not all walking around here in this space where we just feel like it's never going to get better and no one understands, but that we have a vision for what's happening in our lives right now and what may be for us later. I appreciate you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you again next time.